Introducing Gatorade Water. Alkaline and electrolyte.
Grant, how's it going? Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Which one were you watching, Grant? TK1574, you were scrolling, you found this looking awesome. Well, thank you for stopping in. Oh yes, the brigade. That was a fun one. Interesting kind of to see the befores and afters from years later. Some of it was pretty good and some of it was like, okay, you know. Crazy Dave, yo. Yeah, this is all hand drawn. I don't do digital. I'm one of the few remaining holdovers that draws by hand, and it'll always be that way. Thanks, Crazy Dave. I'll take it with a grain of salt, Grant. Let's see.
Want to play an instrument? Musician is the easiest way to learn guitar.
So the comic, it's a fan comic, as silly as this sounds, for Masters of the Universe. It's something I've been working on for years, and I got story ideas a long time ago when my younger brother bought me the DVDs for the original show that I used to watch as a kid, and I hadn't seen it in years, so I watched it and just started coming up with ideas. And eventually I'm like, I want to see these stories. So I just started making it. And here we are years later. And this fan comic, I've made 5 volumes of it. Like, to give you an idea of how thick. It's book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5 right there. And then this is book 6, the last volume for this insanity I've decided to do. So it's not anything I can sell. I mean, I do take donations to the channel, so to speak, and then I will send people copies of the book, but it's just something I just wanted to do. And here I am, a couple years later, a couple volumes later, still working on it. What's crazy is He-Man and Masters of the Universe is not even my favorite thing. I just started thinking of stories. Like, it was one of my favorites as a kid. But I just started, like, just thinking of things, and so people are like, you must really love He-Man. I'm like, yeah, not a lot. I mean, not crazy. It's not my passion of the entire world, but it's fun. Well, I guess I should say, just for clarification's sake, I'm having the time of my life doing this. It's just that He-Man in and of itself was never my favorite. Like, it was on the top 3 or 4 cartoons of my childhood: Transformers, Thundercats, He-Man, Voltron. And given the pick of anything in the universe to do, you know, right, given free reign to do anything, it wouldn't be this. But like I said, I just started coming up with story ideas, and it's based specifically off the 80s version of the concept, the 80s cartoon. And so many of the, especially the secondary characters, don't have any characterization. They're kind of blank slates. So I just kind of made them my own, and therefore I kind of feel like I have like a little like pretend ownership on them, because I've made certain character traits that are, you know, things I come up with. So it's not as much a He-Man comic per se as it's my own kind of story. But and once I'm done with this, I'm gonna I've got plans to do something else that's kind of a spin-off of this, but something I can own and do on my own. Trying to build up the YouTube channel to, in theory, have people that might be interested to support a crowdfunder if I decide to go that route. Say you do a comic book called Beowulf, and my brother buys me copies of the original book wherever he goes, and I don't have the heart to tell him I don't give a crap about the original Beowulf. That's, yeah, some people kind of don't get it sometimes. TK1574, you see, you did the same for Adventure Time and BNHA. Sorry, I don't know what that is. But I'm not great at art, so I worked on writing. I dropped them, though. Right now I'm working on a love story MMA book. Yeah, Grant. Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes these old concepts, there's nothing there. So you just start filling in story concepts on your own. And sometimes you start like coming up with ideas like, well, this is actually kind of fun. Like, I've made a thing. Thank you, Jackson. Kind of making a mess with all my white paint here, but just trying to go for some effect. So Grant, that's actually what I'm doing. I'm so far into this. What I'm going to do is, by the time I'm done, I don't know how to say it without making it sound potentially stupid, but I'm going to take the remaining characters and have them transported to a different world where they go through a portal that basically changes them physically, kind of like the Siege Perilous from X-Men, if you even have any idea what that even means, if you're a comic nerd or not. But it's going to basically be the same characters, but they're altered in form. And so then anybody who's read this He-Man comic would kind of know their backstory, but it's a fresh start for a couple of the characters to go off on new adventures. And that's my plan. In my head it works. We'll see if that actually pans out into anything in real time. I have actually thought about going through all these pages and just like changing costumes and things like that, and just calling it like my own version of the thing. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. So I don't color. I have no ability to color. I'm no good at color. I don't understand color theory. That's step one. And then it's because I print these books up, like I said, like I was showing, like book 5 here. It's 117 pages of story. And then there's some pinups and stuff in the back that some friends have done. To print a full color book would be outrageously expensive, which I do not have the money for. and I'm kind of digging the black and white. So these ones I can't, I don't color because I can't. So if one, I'd have to pay somebody to color. And then two, I'd have to like have the money to print them in color, and black and white is so much cheaper. So I do it because like I'm an aspiring comic artist. I want to tell a story. I want to have like a book I can hand to somebody. And even if it's only in black and white, I can be like, here's my story. I wrote it, I drew it, I inked it. No, there's not color, and some people find that to be a lesser book. But at least I'm able to tell my story. So yeah, no color for me. Well, thanks, man. I try. I try to make it as interesting as I can in the black and white. Yeah, lots of good black and white comics. Alpha Channel, the Turtles, the Tick, Sin City, the Crow. I feel like an artist has to be really good to really pull off a comic in black and white. And I'm not saying that I'm there, but it's all I can do. And I'm doing my best, trying to get better. Yeah, have you not seen the trailer for the new Crow movie? First impressions on the trailer for me was it looked absolutely god awful. For the Crow movie, because I'm such a fan of the original, and I would like to see a faithful adaptation of the original source material, and they really, really went off in some wild directions. But the more I look at it, it might be interesting. Yeah, it does look bad, so it goes. I know, right? Yeah, for real. Same. Son of a bitch. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I wonder how they'd translate that. I read some of those a long time ago, and I kind of don't remember anything about them except I found them entertaining. I wonder how they would translate those, though. That would be an interesting attempt.
Try Old Spice Total Body with 24/7 freshness from pits to toes.
You can transfer your IRA.
Yeah, manga's black and white, obviously. Yeah.
Only with Robinhood Gold through April 30th.
That's fair, Grant. I get it. It's just like I wasn't going to be making any money at anything anyway when I started this. I started it quite a while ago, several years ago, more than 10. And then I ended up doing some work for some very small press publishers, and life events took me away from it. But it's like I'm not making comics that can be seen anyway, you know? So I'm like, but I really wanted to tell this story, so I'm just like, just make it. I was originally only going to do the book one, the first volume. That was kind of basically the only story. But as I kept going, I'm like, but what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And it's honestly the funnest I've ever had making comics. I mean, you know, and like I said, I take donations to the channel. And so I've gotten copies of these books in people's hands. And like I said, getting donations to the channel, I guess you could say I've made money on it, but I don't sell them like, oh, this is an official thing. So I know I'm either stupid or dedicated or both. D-Man, what's going on, brother? But Grant, like you're saying, whether I'm crazy or not, other part of the process is that I'm trying to build up my channel, and if I can accrue enough of an audience, which I've kind of been lucky enough. I'm at 2,400 subscribers. I'm kind of hoping to get a little bit of an audience this way, and then I can kind of do something with my stuff. So there's a plan behind it. Grant, so are you on Instagram, Grant? Because I've got a page there where I'm putting up pages in progress all the time. On my YouTube channel here, I actually go through every book. Every book I've made so far, there's a video where I go through it. And if you end up having any interest, people can basically just contact me through, you can message me here on YouTube or Instagram. Let me show you what you're looking for. So there it is. It's just Norton 12013. The 12013 just says Rob with numbers. But on my page here, I'm putting up pages in progress. I'm easily contacted there. And like I said, on my YouTube channel here, I've got videos where I go through every book and kind of talk about it. I've got a couple videos where I go through the pages that I'm working on and kind of talk about the story. So Alpha Channel, you say stick with it. I foresee this becoming a much bigger market. Games are getting easier and there's a lot more room for crossover there. Yeah, I'm sticking at this. D-Man, it's just a YouTube page of like copyright free techno music, so I can play it in the background on my channel and not get like demonetized. Man, D-Man, Chuck's in bed by this point. That man gets up at 2 or 3 in the morning, so I don't think he's inking right now. Brunson, what's up, man? Thanks. I've been on some complicated pages that are taking my ass a long time with all these characters, and it's just driving me nuts. It's a problem when I'm getting to the climax of my book here. The entire team, 8 different characters are getting together, so got to draw them all. It's a pain in the dick. But I think I'm actually done with this one. Well, thanks, Grant. I appreciate that. And Alpha Channel, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, these are some other pages that I've been working on, just building up the story. Like I said, this is the final book, and we're building up to the final climax to everything. So, like I said, all the characters are getting together. There's a big violent climax story coming along, and I did a big splash page of the characters. So I got He-Man, Fisto, She-Ra, Strong Arm, Jitsu, Trapjaw, and this is Tila, now made the Sorceress and redesigned, and then this is a new character I've added to the book. Steve Avery, say they look fucking awesome, man. I love the white effect. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the compliments very much. Grant, you've been enjoying the Image Comics commentaries. You grew up in the 90s like me. I was a child of the 80s and a teenager of the 90s, and was trying to love the hell out of those books, even though it took me a while to realize that they're not, so many of them were not that good. Some of them were great. They were fun, but yeah. Caton, what's up? Someone's saying I occasionally throw out a random stream. I was on the Discord thing for a minute, but no one was joining me there, so I moved over here. Grant, you wish you could figure out why we loved them so much? I mean, they were just fun, man. I mean, there was more fun then than I think there is now in comics. Comics these days from the big publishers seem so pretentious. I don't know. It's just, it was such an amazingly fun time. I don't regret it, even though so many of them were terrible. D-Man, yeah, people were collecting X-Men and Spawn comics back in the 90s just for the art, not for the stories. Yeah, Conan, the Punisher, and X-Men were hyper-violent compared to what was on TV. That's true. We all liked some weird stuff, Grant. I like Howard the Duck. So much so that I did an entire commentary on it with my brother on my channel, and we had the greatest time talking about it. It's widely considered one of the worst movies ever made, to which we say bullshit. It's one of the best movies ever made. Jay Nunya, I don't know anything about Howard the Duck, if that's what you're referring to in the comics. I didn't even know it was a comic book until way later in life, and I never saw them anywhere, so I don't have any kind of, like, opinion on it. See, Brunson, you understand, brother. Yeah, Howard the Duck was awesome. Slice salami. Alpha Cool World was terrible, great in the same kind of way. Like, that movie has some parts that are absolutely brilliant and some parts that are absolutely insufferable. It's kind of a wasted opportunity. TK, you're asking how many comics have I sold? I can't even begin to tell you. I print them in 25 book, like I print them in quantities of 25 each. And I've probably had to reprint the first 3 volumes at least twice each. And then maybe 3 times each. It's kind of hard to say. And volumes 4 and 5 I haven't had to reprint yet, but I'm close. I recently had somebody buy all 5 volumes. They were the first person to buy all of them at once. So that was nice. That was very, very generous of them. Savage Dragon, Grant, is my favorite Image comic, and I'm still collecting it to this day, so though sometimes I don't know why. Yeah, those first like 75 issues of Dragon are some of the funnest, greatest comics I've ever read, and I just think they're amazing. You know, D-Man, if I could make the kind of money Eric July is, I don't know. Maybe I'd sell out. I'd at least want to make good comics, though. Oh, you'll like D-Man. You'll like my rant I've got coming up on a comic book. Not tomorrow, but the day after. Where is it? Son of a bitch. Yeah, does anybody who's read comics recognize this crap right here? Bloodfire by Lightning Comics. It's one of the worst comics I've ever read in my life, but mainly because of the mission statement of the creators. It's terrible. They're literally saying we're doing this to cash in on the speculator bubble that's going on. We're only going to print them in limited quantities, so they'll be collectible, and it's god awful. Yeah, I had a viewer of the channel send me a whole box of comics, and a couple of these were in it. So I'm like, let's do some indie stuff, and this is just absolute shit. Just so bad. I think they tried to go for like a metallic foil cover. It's just junk. So, yeah, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's a video where I'm going over my son sits down with me to go over one of his kids' books. It's my 8-year-old kid, so be a little boring off the beaten path when it's just me talking with my son about one of his little kids' books. But when my son comes to me and says, "Daddy, I want to do a video with you on your channel," you do a video with your kid on your channel. So, but then after that is Bloodfire, and then after that, here's a book that I'm wondering, who remembers this? A Warblade miniseries drawn by Simon Bisley? I've got 2 issues of it. Yeah, Warblade, of all characters. Who gives a shit about Warblade? But believe me, what they do with him in this book is not anything like you would expect. Right? That cover's badass, I know. I've never been I'm not the expert on Bisley's artwork because I didn't follow it for a long time. Yeah, the Lobo artist. But like the stuff that he does with this character in this book, I love that panel, that face right there. It's pretty badass. So this will be like Thursday, I think. Yeah, Magic the Gathering, these ads. They had to make money somewhere. The Max was Sam Keith. And this book gets a little adult with some of the stuff going on there. That's Warblade railing on his girl right there. Get her. Get it, man. Anyway, this book was shockingly interesting. I couldn't believe it. I say in my video that I've got it uploaded. It's just scheduled to come out. I was fully prepared to just hate the story in this, but I was like, oh, somebody had something to say, so that was fun. And then soon enough, just for you, D-Man, we'll do Liefeld's Bad Rock, because I know you love that stuff. People always love the Liefeld Bad Rock, or Liefeld anything. And then soon will be Spawn Director's Cut, where it's all the black and white artwork and McFarlane giving commentary page by page. I mean, he throws in some of the color pages too, but he talks about it like the black and white artwork. Yeah, I love this. I mean, I rip on Spawn's writing pretty hard. I go pretty hard on it, but I can't tell you, I think the artwork in this stuff, especially these first issues, like this right there, like I want to tear this out of this book and hang it on my wall. TK, you say, do you watch comic YouTubers like Comic Pop? Not Comic Pop. I mean, I watch Cartoonist Kayfabe, and then there's one or two smaller guys. I can't think of any of their names right now. The Comic Lounge and Blood Force Mitch, a couple guys like that. Grant, so how many issues is that run? I just randomly found issues 1 and 2. So I'm curious, how many did it go for? 5 issues. Okay. I'm going to have to try and track down the other 3. I actually want to know how this ends up. Yeah, Alpha, David Finch's stuff, always entertaining. Todd McFarlane should get on here and do a commentary, bud. He should do Spawn comics, bud. Because I draw Spawn, he's got a big cape. Yeah, Grant, I am. I'm in there. Anyway, yeah, that's Spawn Director's Cut. That'll be a fun one. But yeah, Grant, I'm on Cartoonist Kayfabe ringside seats. I know Rocco and those guys. They even got pages coming up in their new Ghost Agents book. So D-Man, where do you post these up besides YouTube? On your YouTube page. Do you post those characters up anywhere that you do? Well, do I not follow you on Instagram, man? D-Man, what is your Instagram? Huh? Mutant Baby Productions. Well, that must be D-Man right there. How am I not following you, damn it? Hell, even Chuck's following you, man. I'm a loser. Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to have to go through your page now and look at all your stuff. Awesome. All right, man. Well, I'm glad I found you now. Well, thanks, Grant. I appreciate it. Yeah, Grant, we should link up sometime. That would be yeah. We'll check that out. D-Man, why is Shadow Weaver so curvy? Because all my girls are hot babes, even when they're ugly, scaly, mutant, ugly witch bitches. And TK, you just validated my storytelling. I know it's rough pencils, but that is why all the heroes are here, because this evil witch bitch is gonna she's gonna sacrifice a baby to call forth a demon from hell, and that's why the heroes are there. And yes, they do save the kid. The kid does not get hurt. I mean, the kid gets a little tiny scratch, so a little bit of blood, but they absolutely do save the kid. But yeah, good eye. Well, that's all right, Grant. I'll tell everyone on my channel to, you know, like if I can join you over there, and then we can, you know, cross-pollinate, so to speak. Yeah, right? They wouldn't publish my stuff. Maybe they should, right? Of course, my comic has crossed over with Thundercats, Voltron, and Transformers. So... yeah, D-Man, you're not wrong. I didn't mind season 2, though, that much. Not nearly as much as season 1. It was kind of all right. Someone saying they made who? Interesting? Sorry. T-Man. Yeah, Voltron was pretty awesome back in the day. Bunch of giant kitty robots cutting up monsters. Hell yeah. Oh. No, I get you. Sorry. Thanks, Grant. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Fart Inhaler Slam Poetry asks, what's my opinion on Steven Seagal's 2005 album, Songs from the Crystal Cave? I have no opinion because I have no idea what you're talking about. No opinion at all. But I do like the name Fart Inhaler Slam Poetry. Like, you instantly got a fan. Do it, D-Man. Make sure she's a strong female character that makes fun of men at every step of the way. That's what people want to see these days. That's been working out really well. Dino Saradino, if I'm saying that right. What's more important in a crunch, style or tell the story? Ugh. That's a hard one. Style will keep people visually interested. Story will keep people returning in the long run. If they get sick of your style, at least that you want to have them hooked on the story. But in a crunch, like, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. For me, if we're talking comics, if it's not visually interesting, I'm out. Oh, someone's saying for the win. It's a fair point, Brunson. Fair point. I gotta look up that One Punch Man and give it a legitimate go. I've heard nothing but interesting things about it. I know the basic premise, but I need to actually experience it for myself. You know what, Wiley J? I think you're 100% right. I've actually thought about doing something like that. Like, let's just make an old school, like, classic 90s comic of just, like, overly sexualized babes, crazy violence, crazy humor, fly in the face of everyone telling us it's sexist and stupid. Like, I don't want to make anything disgusting or, like, you know, it needs to have, like, a sense of humor about it. But I don't know. I've thought that that would actually be a really fun thing to do. I wonder if Chuck would be on board with inking me on that. We'll call it Satan Sluts. How about that? I love John Romita Jr. Dino. Um, he's got a very, you know, unique style that some people don't dig, but his storytelling is top notch at all levels. Isn't that just called manga? Fair. Fair. Point to Gaten again. Oh my God, you are so right. Yeah, TK, I've seen some of it before. If you're referring that it's very basic, right? And then it kind of took off and found its audience on the One Punch Man. I think you're talking to, right? Oh man. Yeah, maybe Satan Sluts are the next book to do. Isn't that just called manga anyway? Oh, dude, that's hilarious. I'm going to be thinking of that for a long time. Okay, TK, yeah, I'll have to look it up. Yeah, grindhouse style. Yeah, there you go. That's the thing. Like, we're not going to bring anybody in with big actors and production values, so we'll bring you violence and sex. You know you're interested. Yeah, D-Man, I keep coming close to getting in on that new book just so I can have content for the channel. I don't know if I want to spend $30 for a comic, though. That might not be good, but I don't know. Maybe I'll incur his wrath and he can shout me out as a douchebag on his channel and send some business my way. That Van Sciver is a guy that, I don't know, I can't decide if I like him or I dislike him. He can draw like a mother effer, I know that much. But I ain't looking to get into conflicts with anybody. That's the main thing, like, honestly. no one would give a shit about little old me in the first place. It's going to, yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm trying to do a thing. So I'm trying to, I don't know. We wouldn't want to go all Liefeld. Yeah, I know it's not all lined up. I'm supposed to have a curved blade, but I got to line up the. Dano says feelings about Neil Adams and George Perez passing. Well, those both been a minute ago. It sucks when any of the greats pass on, you know. But at least we got their work to be able to reflect back on. Wiley, have I thought about doing an omnibus? I've thought about collecting the first 3 into one giant book and then the final 3 into one big book. I don't know about doing all of them into one. I mean, that would be a thing. But the first 3 books are, they're all basically kind of one story, and then the final 3 they're all connected, but I think they work better as separate collections, but that's something I've thought about doing. I'll think more about it when I get this book done. And I would probably only do it the one time. I mean, it'd be kind of a hard sell because it'd be pretty expensive, honestly, ish. And then I don't know, getting people to be like, "Hey, have you already bought my book? Do you want to buy it again in a bigger volume?" Maybe. I mean, I'd make a point to put in a bunch of new extra material, sketches, pinups, maybe additional pages, maybe some pages redrawn, because there's some stuff from the first book that I'm just like, oh my god, this was so long ago, it's terrible. But it's something I've thought about doing for sure. Dino, Invincible cartoon. Yeah. When does season 2 come, or part 2 of season 2? Yeah, I've really found the Invincible animated good because I've read every issue of the comic and I love it, and so I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Yeah, back matter. Yeah, I agree with you, D-Man. I don't give a fuck about politics. Just give me good story and art. I agree. That's all I care about. I don't care if it's Comic Gates or Marvel or Image or Indie Guy. Just make an interesting book, and I'm on board. Someone said if you're talking about Invincible, I mean, I found it extremely interesting, mostly because, like, the Invincible comic was extremely violent, and they lean into that big time. Like, big time. Like, it is profoundly violent, and I love it. It's like, I am so bored of traditional American animation where it's so safe. And in Invincible, they're like, oh no, we're literally going to show a superhero take a man's head and squeeze it and explode it and just make blood and guts fly everywhere. And it's also, I find it to be an interesting story because Invincible was a great comic. I've actually met Ryan Otley, the artist on the book, a couple of times. He knows who I am. And so, yeah, Invincible's a great show. Kind of starts out unassuming, especially in the first episode, but by the end of the first episode, you're like, oh shit. Wiley says best comic going is Conan by Titan. I don't even know about that one. I'd have to look up that. Erase that whole thing. Oh, God. All right, guys, it's 11 o'clock here, and I got to be up at 5 in the morning to get to work by 6, so I better call it.
Bluetooth pairing.
But as always, thanks for everyone who stopped in for the random unannounced. I do these on occasion. I do unannounced shit. At least I got this page finished. Yeah, Gaten, thank you, man. I appreciate it.